by Napoleon Hill. So yes, the relationship of employer. Sorry, कहाँ तक हो गया था? And king is significant. It means that people will not follow forced leadership indefinitely. The world has entered a new era of relationship between leaders and followers, which very clearly calls for new leaders and a new brand of leadership in business and industry. Those who belong to old school of leadership by force must acquire an understanding of the new brand of leadership cooperation or be relegated to the rank and file of the followers. There is no other way out for them. The relationship of employer and employee or of leader and follower in the future will be one of mutual cooperation based upon an equitable division of profits or business. In the future, the relationship of employer and employee will be more like a partnership than it has been in the past. Hitler, Stalin, Saddam Hussein are examples of leadership by force. Their leadership passed without much difficulty. One might point to the prototypes of these ex leaders among the business, financial, and labor leaders of America who have been dethroned or slated to go. Leadership by consent of the followers is the only brand that can endure. Endure means to sustain. I assume. Yes. To can endure. Leadership by force cannot endure. People may follow the forced leadership temporarily, but they will not do so willingly or for long. The new brand of leadership will embrace the 11 essential leadership attributes described in this chapter, as well as some other attributes. People who make these the basis of their leadership will find abundant opportunity to lead in any walk of life. Remove obstacle to success. The 31 major causes of failure. Life's greatest tragedy lies in the overwhelmingly large majority of people who honestly try and fail as compared to the few who succeed. I have had the privilege of analyzing several thousand men and women, 98 of whom were classed as failures. There is something radically wrong with the civilization and a system of education that permits 98% of the people to go through life as failures. Pilate did not write this book for the purpose of moralizing on the rights and wrongs of the world and would require a book of 100 times the size of this one. You may see at one that the same time both your best friend and your greatest enemy by stepping in front of mirror. My analysis proved that there are at least 31 major reasons for failures and 17 steps people take to accumulate fortunes. Below is a list of the 31 major causes of failures, plus an open category for any other excuse one can think up for not being successful. As you go over the list, check yourself by it point by point for the purpose of discovering how many of these causes of failure stand between you and success. Unfavorable hereditary background. There is but little, if anything, that can be done for people who are born with a deficiency in brain power. This philosophy offers but one method of bridging this weakness through the aid of the mastermind. Observe with profit, however, that this is the only one of the 30 causes of failure that may not be easily corrected by an individual. Lack of well defined purpose in life. There is no hope of success for the person who does not have a central purpose or definite goal at or definite goal. Which to aim. 98 out of every 100 of those whom I have analyzed had no such aim. Perhaps this was the major cause of their failure. Well defined purpose in life. So you should have a well defined goal and well defined and central purpose to which to aim. Lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. We offer no hope for the person who is so indifferent, so uninterested as not to want to get ahead in life and who is not willing to pay the price. Insufficient education. This is a handicap that may be overcome with comparative ease. Experience. Insufficient education. Experience has proven that the best educated people are often those who are known as self made or self educated. It takes more than a college degree to make one person of education. The person who's educated is one who has learned to get whatever he or she wants in life without violating the rights of others. Education consists not so much of knowledge but of knowledge effectively and persistently applied. People are paid not merely for what they know but more particularly for what they do with what which they know. Mm. Lack of self discipline. Discipline comes through self control. This means that one must control all negative qualities before you can control conditions. You must first control yourself. Self mastery is the hardest job you will ever tackle. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. You may see at one end and the same time both your best friend and your greatest enemy by stepping in front of a mirror. Ill health. No person may enjoy outstanding success without good health. Many of the causes of the ill health are spiritual mastery and control. This is the main are overconsumption of foods not conducive to health, overindulgence in harmful substances such as nicotine and alcohol, wrong habits of thought, giving expression to negatives, wrong use of and overindulgence, lack of proper physical exercise, an inadequate supply of fresh air due to improper breathing, unfavorable environmental influences during childhood. As the twig is bent, so shall the tree grow. Most people who have criminal tendencies acquire them as a result of bad environment and improper associates during childhood. Procrastination. This is one of the most common causes of failure. Old man procrastination stands within the shadow of all people, waiting their opportunity to spoil their chances of success. Most of us go through life as failures because we are waiting for the time to be right, to start doing something worthwhile. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command. Better tools will be found as you go along. Lack of persistence. Most of us are good starters but poor finishers of everything we begin. Moreover, people are prone to give up at the first signs of defeat. There is no substitute for persistence. The persistent person discovers that old man failure finally becomes tired and goes away. Failure can't cope with persistence. Negative personality. There is no hope of success for the person who repels people through a negative personality. Success comes through the application of power, and power is attained through the cooperative efforts of other people. A negative personality will not induce cooperation. Lack of controlled sexual urge. Sex is the most powerful of all stimuli that move people into direction because it is the most powerful of the emotion. It must be controlled through transmutation and converted into other channels. Uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. The gambling instinct drives millions of people to failure. Evidence of this may be found in a study of the dot. Study of the dot com fiasco of early 2000, during which millions of people tried to make money by investing in fly-by-night companies. Lack of a well-defined power of decision. People who succeed reach decision promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. People who fail reach destination decisions, if at all, very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. Indecision and procrastination are twins. Where one is found, the other may usually be found also. Indecision procrastination be found also. Kill off this pair before they completely hog tie you to treadmill of failure. One or more of the six basic fears. These fears have been analyzed you for in step 3. They must be mastered before you can market your services effectively. Wrong selection of a mate in marriage. This is the most common cause of failure. The relation of marriage brings people intimately into contact unless the relationship is harmonious. Failure is likely to follow. Moreover, it will be a form of failure that is marked by misery and unhappiness, destroying all signs of ambition. Over caution. The person who takes no chances generally has a take whatever is left when others are through choosing. The person who takes no chances generally has to take whatever is left when are choosing. Who takes no chances generally has to take whatever is left when others are through choosing. Over caution is as bad as under caution. Both are extremes to be guarded against. Life itself is filled with element of chance. Wrong selection of associates in business. This is one of the most common causes of failures in business. In marketing personal services, one should use great care to select an employer who will be an inspiration and who is intelligent and successful. We emulate those with whom we associate most closely. Pick an employer who is worth emulating. Superstition and prejudice. Superstition is form of fear. It is also a sign of ignorance. People who succeed keep open minds and are afraid of nothing. Wrong selection of a vocation. No one can succeed in a line of endeavor which he or she does not like. The most essential step in the marketing or personal services is that selecting an occupation into which you can throw yourself wholeheartedly. Lack of concentration of effort. Jack of all trades. The jack of all trades. Seldom is good at any. Concentrate all of your efforts on one definite chief aim. The habit of indiscriminate spending. Spendthrifts can't succeed. Can't succeed. The spendthrifts can't succeed. Mainly because they stand eternally of fear of poverty. From the habit of systematic saving by putting aside a definite percent of your income, money is the banks gives one a very safe foundation of courage when bargaining for the sale of personal services. Without money, one must take what one is offered and be glad to get it. Without enthusiasm, one can't be convincing. Moreover, enthusiasm is contagious. Without enthusiasm, one can't be convincing. Moreover, enthusiasm is contagious. And the person who has it under control is generally welcomed in any group of people. Intolerance. The person with a closed mind on any subject seldom gets ahead. With a closed mind. Intolerance means one has stopped acquiring knowledge. The most damaging forms of intolerance are those connected with religious, racial, and political differences of opinion. Intemperance. The most damaging forms of intemperance are connected with eating, strong drinking, and overindulgence in any of these is fatal to success. Overeating, over drinking. Inability to cooperate with others. More people lose their position and their big opportunities in life because of this fault than for all reasons combined. It is a fault that no well informed business executive or leader will tolerate. Possession of power that was not acquired through self effort. This applies to sons and daughters of wealthy families acquired through self effort. That was not acquired through self effort. Okay. This applies to sons and daughters of wealthy families and others who inherit money that they did not earn. Power in the hands of one who did not acquire it gradually is often fatal to success. Quick riches are more dangerous than poverty. There is no substitute for honesty. One may be temporarily dishonest by force of circumstances over which one has no control without permanent damage. But there is no hope for people who are dishonest by choice. Sooner or later, their deeds will catch up with them, and they will pay for loss of reputation and perhaps even loss of liberty. These qualities serve as red lights that warn others to keep away. They are fatal to success. Egotism and vanity. These qualities are red lights that warn others to keep away. They are fatal to success. Guessing instead of thinking. Most people are too indifferent or lazy to acquire facts with which to think accurately. Uh, Thinking. Most people are too indifferent or lazy to acquire facts with which to think accurately. They prefer to act on opinions created by guesswork. Guessing. Okay, okay. They are too indifferent, like uninterested or lazy to acquire facts with which to think accurately. They prefer to act as opinions created by guesswork or snap judgments. Lack of capital. This is a common cause of failure among those who start out in business for the first time without sufficient reserve of capital to absorb the shock of their mistakes and to carry them over until they have established a reputation. Under this name, any point cause of failure from which you have suffered that has not been included in the foregoing list. Evaluate yourself in terms of these 31 common causes of failures, then ask one more other people to evaluate you. Perhaps a supervisor, a friend, a teacher, a colleague, and a client. Having several different perspectives provides a more complete and objective view of your strengths and weaknesses. Just one is nice. Lack of capital is just. Currently, I am facing lack of capital. The point number 30, and maybe part of strategy that is wrong selection of a vocation. Hmm. Maybe negative personality number 10. Ill health number 6. Appreciate the opportunities and resources you have. One major obstacle to success not named specifically in the previous section is the making of excuses which could be attributed to every single item in the list. Part of self knowledge and self improvement involves recognizing when you are making excuses and hence placing limitation on your own success and adjusting your, especially if you are living in a country with a free market capitalist economy such as USA. Let us take inventory of what the USA offers the person seeking riches, greater or small. Hmm. To begin with, let us remember, all of us, that we live in a country where every law abiding citizen enjoys freedom of thought and freedom of deed unequaled anywhere in the world. Most of us have never taken inventory of the advantages of this freedom. We have never compared our unlimited freedom with the curtailed and controlled. The countries here we have freedom of thought, freedom of choice, and enjoyment of education, freedom in religion, freedom in politics, freedom in the choice of a business, profession, or occupation, freedom to accumulate and own without molestation all the property we can accumulate, freedom to choose our place of residence, freedom in marriage, freedom through equal opportunity to all races, freedom of travel from one state to another, freedom in our choice of foods, and freedom to aim for any station in life for which we have prepared ourselves, even for the presidency of the USA. भाई